wie geht's? Mein Name is Monica Liana, and this is Books and Beauty, where I talk about books while doing my makeup. Granted, my makeup is already on. I'm seeing a theme that I'm just not doing my makeup a lot, but still, I will go back to the makeup. It's just today I figured let's just go ahead and make this video because I've been gone a month. And the reason I've been gone a month is because one, I got a little bit busy, and then the second part of September was my birthday and I went on vacation. So that's kind of where I've been. While I was gone though, I have consumed a lot of like the new horror slash thrillers that have come out within the last few months or just this year, and I wanted to talk about them. This video is going to be basically the ones that I don't think are worth your time. You can go ahead and skip them. So let's start with The Next Wife by Kara Roeder. Like I said, I don't know how to say these people's names, but I will pop it up so you can actually see it. But this one is not a thriller. This one is a teen drama, well, actually more or less a Lifetime movie drama. Basically, it's about the new wife and the ex-wife battling it out to try to get what is now the late husband's kind of fortune, because he ends up dying and the new wife has like ownership of the company that they sold. And the old wife is just like, I be damned if you're gonna have any percentage, you can just go away. Like, granted, we'll give you a little percentage and then just like go away. Like, you don't need to be a part of this. And the new wife is just like, I be damned that I'm gonna go somewhere. I am part of this type of thing. And that's what it is. There's probably like one like twist, but that's about it. Other than that, there is not anything else other than this is a bunch of grown women fighting over some fortune. That's it. Friends Like These by Kimberly Mccright. This one was a disappointment. I like this author, so I was hoping that this one would be good. Basically, this one is about a group of friends. They had a tragic accident happen when they were teens, and it's kind of like a secret with amongst all of them and everything like that. You slowly kind of figure out what actually happened that night, but like these people have been hiding it this whole time. And in present day, they're basically just going to like a lodge to have an intervention with one of the friends because he's been having it bad. He's like kind of an addict, and they're trying to convince him to go to a recovery center because I guess he's part of like one of the friends invested in like a business, and kind of like he's like the co-buyer or something like that, and the dad found out and he invested into it, and basically is saying that if he doesn't go to recovery, that like he's gonna take his investment out and their like business is gonna fail. So like they're all there to basically try to convince this guy to go to recovery. And while they're at this lodge, funny things are happening, and you find out early on that somebody died, and that's why there's a detective, and you're basically just backtracking to try to figure out like who died and then like why they died. And that's about it. It was boring. And then what the actual reveal is, not really all that interesting. I didn't like any of the characters. Granted, I don't think you have to like the characters, but at the same time, you have to care to a degree. And I didn't. Like, this was an absolute garbage book. I wish I could have just returned it and got my money back, which actually I did. I ended up returning it from Audible and got my money back because I fucking hated this book. This book was just not worth your fucking time. Just One Look by Lindsay Carmen. Okay, this book is not horrible. This one is a 3 for me. But I will say that I don't think it's as good as people kind of hyped it up to be. So this woman, she is kind of an IT woman working at a law firm with a bunch of other people, and they're basically just scrubbing emails. I don't know exactly why, but they're scrubbing emails, and if there's certain like keywords, they need to flag it, blah, 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 and that's their job. Well, she ends up getting this email from this guy, from one of the, partners, and she sees the interaction between this guy and his wife, and she ends up like getting obsessed with them because she's like, oh my god, they're so cute, like, oh, and everything like that. And she starts like following the wife, and like trying to look like her. Like she gets like the dress that she has, she like finds out what perfume she uses, and it shows that like the wife may have like cheated on the husband maybe or something like that, and they're not together no more, and she like freaks out in her mind. She's like, oh my god, there's no way that like they're the perfect couple. It's like, first of all, you don't know them. And then she's like, okay, well, now I'm going to move in. I'm going to be his new wife and everything. So she places herself in a way so then he notices her and stuff like that. And this is just her obsession. I do like stalking stuff, but she was a little too, I guess you could say, crazy in a way that it kind of was just not fun and not realistic. And she just was such a Debbie Downer. And then even the guy that she was stalking, the reveal of that, I don't know, like it was okay. I just don't think it's as good as this book was kind of hyped up to be, because this book was hyped up, for at least in my opinion, and it was just kind of like it's okay. It's not like Joe Goldberg or anything like that. Like, no. The next one is False Witness by Karen Slaughter, and this one hurts my fucking heart because I love Karen Slaughter, and I will not say that this book is bad. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that there are some Karen Slaughter books, like some of her standalones, that are better than this one. So I've read every Karen Slaughter book, every single one, and I think that's why I'm giving this one a low rating. So this one is a 3 for me, and the reason is because if The Good Daughter and Pretty Girls had a baby, it would be The False Witness. That's how similar this book is to those two books, that like I think that's why I'm only giving it a 3, because I feel like in a way like I read this book twice now, from like The Good Daughters and the Pretty Girls, that I'm kind of like, I just kind of can't give it a high rating. That's really why. It's like, it's not bad. I feel like if you've never read Karen Slaughter, you have not read any of her books, and you're actually scared of her books, because Pretty Girls is horrible. If you're scared of a book, do not read that book, because that book will scar you. And then The Good Daughters, I don't think that one is as bad, but it's like, if you're really scared of like Pretty Girls or something like that, but you want to read Karen Slaughter, I would say go with The False Witness, because I'm like, this one is not that bad. This one is like a very watered down version in comparison to The Good Daughters and like Pretty Girls. But like I said, it is kind of like their baby. So if you were actually interested in it, I would say go for it. But let me give this synopsis. So basically, two sisters, Karen Slaughter's love sisters. One is an addict and the other one is a lawyer. And she ends up getting basically recruited to work on this case because her client actually asked for her, even though there's no real reason why she was actually asked to do this. But the client wanted her. And turns out the reason the client wanted her because she babysat him when he was younger. Like she knew who he was. Like she didn't recognize him, but like soon as he was like, yeah, don't you remember me? And this is not a spoiler because this happens literally at the beginning. They did something. At the beginning of the book, you find out, like it's very much at the beginning of the book, they did something. And they didn't think that he knew, but apparently he knew. And now they're basically circling around him, trying to figure out how to cover their asses and figure out, like, one, how much does he know? And then, like, two, to how to cover their ass. And then, like, he's up for, like, rape or something like that. And he's basically like, you better get me off because I know some stuff that you don't want to get out. And that's basically what this book is about. And like I said, it's not bad. It's just in comparison, this is not my favorite Karen Slaughter book. So do with it as you will. As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. Another book that I'm highly disappointed about. I don't think this book is bad. It is a 3. And this is the 3rd book in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy. I will say the first 2 books in the trilogy, great. Loved them. This book, I don't know. I guess I would say the biggest thing to me is that the charm went away. So if you read The Good Girls Guide to Murder, I'm saying that all wrong. If you read it, you would know that like it's almost kind of like a Nancy Drew type of situation. Like this young girl, she's gonna figure this out. She's slightly annoying and very kind of almost in a way righteous, but she knows a lot of stuff and she like finds the clues and everything like that. And like the first one I think was done in like interview form, and then the second book she gets like a podcast and everything like that. So like it's very fun in a way, even though it is a dark subject matter. Like both of the crimes in the first two books are dark, but like it's done in a very fun Nancy Drew type of way. The third book, and I kind of can't talk about this one too much because it would give away, because it is very like full circle, like they all connect. But the third book, she kind of suffers from PTSD and her fun, quirky aspect is gone. She's very paranoid. She's very self-judgmental. She's hiding a lot of stuff. She has long dialogues in her brain about like all the bad things over and over and over and over again. And it's just like, move on. Like granted, you know, PTSD, but like it got annoying. And then like there is no really podcast element to it, nor is there really interview element to it, except for like I could think of like a handful of times that there was like a little bit. So I feel like the charm of this series just went away. And I get why this series was made. I get that they had to fix it. I think it was always going to be a 3-part book, I think. So it's like, I get it, but the author took away all her charm. And like I said, I get it. She has PTSD and she's having some problems, but it just made it kind of not as fun. So if you are good with not reading the third book, like you didn't even know there was going to be a third book, I would say just skip it. Truly. If you like the first book and then like you did get to the second book and you're just like, I'm cool with it not being a third book, because I didn't actually know there was going to be a third book. So you know, and I feel like the second book in a way kind of ended in a way that like I didn't realize there was going to be a third book. So if you're cool with not reading the third book, just don't, because it's not as good. And it kind of, at least the ending for me was not really satisfying. And the choices she made in the book, I don't think were the right choices. So yeah, that's really my opinion on it. But those are the books. No, when I make the next video, I'll talk about the ones that I do think are good. But these are the ones that I either think do not read, they're not worth your time, or they're okay. I'm warning you, they're just okay. But yeah, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.